Hello, my love. Today, I want to chat with you about some of the things that I tweaked in these last 30 days of the new year to be able to be more productive and efficient just in my life. It's also been very healing and honestly rewarding just these last 30 days. And I encourage you, I do encourage you, if you haven't watched my other videos on honoring your word, honoring your promises, definitely check those out because they definitely relate to what I'm going to share today. I also will mention 30 soft. It's kind of the thing I made up. It's not made up because 75 soft exists, but it's my version of it to kind of test out if that's what I wanted to do, continue doing for, the remainder of the year or for 60 days or 75 days. So I'll give you an update on that and what I did. And yeah, let's just hop into the video. So the first thing I would say that I tweaked in this year, these last 30 days, is detachment. For a long time, I just was very attached to outcomes. I was very wanting to be in control of things, and I believe it's still part of me. I'm just learning to let that go. So detaching from outcomes, detaching from the results, detaching from how it's going to be done, and just realizing what is for me, it's going to happen. And this is relationships, this is business-wise, this is even just with fitness, but in general, detaching. So detachment. The next thing is taking small steps. I use what I learned in Atomic Habits, and I've shared this in other videos, but taking small steps, creating small habits, not just jumping into things like aggressively, but just kind of easing into it so that I can make it a habit that I could continue on for the rest of my life or for as long as needed. So definitely, if you have not read Atomic Habits or watched my video on Atomic Habits, I'll link that below, but definitely check that out because that book, like I said, I love that book. There's a lot of books on habits, but I really love Atomic Habits and how James Clear, how he lays it out for you. Next, recentering God. For a long time, last year I had a goal to build a relationship with God, and I did read my Bible, but not consistently. And so this last 30 days, I've been very consistent every day, reading my Bible, praying, seeking God, really learning to build a relationship, because relationship requires that you get to know the person. You don't just like, oh, hey, I'm your significant other. Hey, I'm your best friend. Hey, I'm your, cousin, whatever. You build these relationships. And so that is what I've been doing every single day. And I'll chat a little bit more about that when I talk about I keep wanting to say 75 soft, my 30 soft. That will probably turn into a 75 soft. Focus. That's the next thing. Focus. One thing I did, and I started doing this last year, but I've been pretty strict with it this last 30 days, is either turning off my phone, putting it on do not disturb, putting it on a work focus, or putting it in a drawer, or putting it in another room in a drawer. A lot of us, we're not productive because we're just not focused. You're too busy trying to scroll, look at your subscribers, look at your follower count, see what this person's doing or the next drama or what's on the news. I really encourage you to look at monk mode. Monk mode is something I heard about last year, and it just I really like that. Locking in with focus. You turn off your phone, no distractions. You're not reading emails, being off social media. Like me, I've been off Instagram since September, I believe it is. It might have been late August. I've been off Instagram. I'm only on YouTube and just focusing in on what I want to create. So really focusing is something that is, I'm locked in. Every day, I have so many ideas. It's really becoming, how do I create all these ideas? And then also I started to think and doubt myself. This is a honest, honesty conversation or honesty. This is me just being honest. Is what I'm trying to say is I would doubt, because I have so many ideas and I'll record videos, but I'm like, should I post this? Should I post, 5 videos every week? Does that make sense? Should I save these videos to post them later when I don't have the creativity? And I'm just locked in. And because I'm locked in, I'm really feeling good in my body. I'm able to create and to create more than I think I've ever created, and to think of things in a different way than I've ever thought about them before. Another thing is being more consistent and disciplined with my schedule. So, excuse me, it's very dry out here in Las Vegas, but excuse me, but being more consistent with my schedule. So this is what I do. I learned this in business just since I was 18. You schedule your day out the day before, so you don't have to worry about it the day after, the next day, tomorrow. You schedule it out the night before or the day before. What do I need to do, right? And what I've tweaked in this is that I only put my top 3 to 5 things that I need to do. And this could be personal and business. So you could break it up into 2 separate things or just make them all into one list. So I have no more in one day, no more than 6 things that I have on this list, because these are the things that are non-negotiable. I want these things need to be checked off every single day, unless there's some kind of like disturbance that just stop me from doing it. So these are like my non-negotiable. These are the top 3, the top 5 things that must be done. This for you could be you need to make your schedule. This could be an outline. This could be that you need to contact a client or clients. This could be that you need to do the hard things. But these top 3 things are like the hard things, the things I don't want to do, the things that make me nervous, or the things that I always put off to last minute. My top 3 things. And I made them non-negotiable. I have to do them. And again, there's days I think there was only 1 that I didn't do in this whole 30 days, but that's why I said just 3 is good, or you could just do 2 things. But these are the non-negotiable things, and this has helped me greatly. And when you're doing it, learning to be flexible, like don't put too much on your plate. Don't say I'm going to do these 10 things every day. If they're 10 big things, it's highly unlikely you're going to get them done. And then you feel like you failed when you don't do it. Whereas if you have 3 things or 2 things that are really important, you get those done, you feel like, oh, I got this done. It's a small win. It's encouraging you to keep on with this habit. It's a reward. And celebrate it. Like I celebrate, I'll sit there, I'll dance. Like, oh yeah, I did everything. I called the people I needed to call. I sent that email I was scared to send. I wrote that outline or that blog. I posted that video that I didn't want to post. Like there's videos this month that they were old videos, old shorts, and I put the shorts out. And then one of the shorts got like hundreds of views. And I was very shocked because I literally didn't put it out 2 months ago when I originally created it, and I did it. So just doing things I'm afraid of, and that's been very helpful. Another thing that I'm living by right now is I don't chase, I attract. So I'm not chasing anybody, anything, any opportunity, anything, nothing, no people. I'm not chasing anything. What is for me is going to make its way to me. If I want it, it's available to me. It wants me more. Like, you know how they say, it wants me more. Whatever I want wants me more. Like that is just my vibe right now, is that I'm not chasing anybody. I'm not chasing anybody. The only thing that I'll chase after is God, pretty much. I'm not even chasing after fame, success, money, because whatever I want is going to come towards me. Whatever's for me is for me. I cannot deny that. I cannot stop that. That's going to come to me. And so that's one thing I'm solid on. The next thing I'm very solid on and firm on is boundaries. I've always been into boundaries, but didn't know how to properly convey them. And then last year I started to get better at setting boundaries. And this year I'm focusing on communicating those boundaries, because sometimes I'll have a boundary, but I don't know how to communicate it properly to be assertive enough to be able to not hurt. Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. But learning that it's okay. Sometimes you are going to hurt somebody's feelings. It's okay. If you can communicate it properly and assertively and directly, and they still don't receive you, maybe that person is not supposed to be your friend, or you're not supposed to be close to them. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm learning that boundaries are very important, and that the people who don't respect the boundaries, they may not need to be in my circle. They may not need to be in my crew. They may not need to be like part of any of this. And I really encourage you to really look into boundaries. I'm going to be making a video, or probably a couple videos upcoming in the next couple of weeks, on boundaries, because I feel like the things that I've learned and I started to implement over the last year have helped me. And I also want to share some of the things that I went terribly wrong with. And there's some friendships or people that are no longer in my life because I may not have communicated what I was trying to say in the best way. And I could admit that. I'm okay with admitting failures, because they're all lessons to get better. Another thing I've been focusing on is keeping my hands open. And for me, this is sharing information, not keeping or holding anything back, being able to give freely, and understanding that every time I give, something comes back to me. Not giving because I want something to come back to me, but understanding that that's how it works. That's how the world works. It's cyclical. You give something, it comes back to you. It doesn't have to be in the same way. It could be bigger, it could be smaller, but understanding that if my hands are closed, my fist is closed, I cannot receive anything and I cannot give anything. So keeping my hands open. Another thing I've been doing is slowing down. It's okay to not run every day. It's okay to slow down with your walk. It's okay to not lift heavier to get a new PR. It's okay. You can simmer back, especially women. Like, it's okay to relax and to recharge and to rest and to not give it your all every single day. It's better to give something than to give nothing at all, is what I'm saying. And learning to slow down has been so helpful for me with digestion, just being able to eat slower, to be able to walk a little bit slower has helped with my knee, being able to just be more at ease and be at flow. It's such a beautiful thing. It's so rewarding. And I wish that I would have done it sooner, honestly. Another thing that I've been implementing is no bad days. I could have a bad hour, a bad 10 minutes, a bad afternoon, a bad morning, a bad evening, but I will not have a bad day. And I know you're probably like, well, that's some toxic positivity. No, it's not toxic positivity. I do what I need to do. I acknowledge that I feel this pain or this whatever it is. If I'm sad, angry, if I want to be a victim, if I want to scream, if I want to cry, if I want to cuss something out or yell at God or whatever, yell at myself, or like I said, be a victim. I do that for this short period of time, very short period of time. Write it out, write it, rip it, burn it, whatever. I do all I need to do and I move on. I make sure it's resolved, obviously, but I move on. So then I don't ever have a bad day. It's just a bad moment, a bad hour, a bad afternoon, a bad morning. The last thing I started implementing, and I'm probably forgetting something, but the last thing I could think of is nourishing my body, like really understanding that nourishing your body is so important, and being intentional about nourishing my body. When I'm eating, like, will this bring nourishment to your body or is this going to not? It's just being aware and being intentional about what I want and who I want to be. That is really changing it. Like, I feel like I could feel it in my body. Even right now when I'm talking, like, I get excited about it because I could feel the change that's happening in me, the transformation, the metamorphosis. I could see metamorphosis. I could see it. I could feel it. I am becoming the woman that I want to be. And I'm okay with it not being fast. It could be slow. It could be gradual. I don't care because I want the lessons. I want the journey because I'm loving every second of it, because I don't know when I'm going to go. We don't know when we're going to go, right? And I want to be able to experience this to the best of my ability. And with speaking on nourishment, that's where I want to come into the idea of the 30 soft. The 30 soft. If you don't know what the 30 soft is, the 30 soft, what I just called it, that is, I'm just taking the 75 soft and making it my own. The 75 soft is a version of the 75 hard, and 75 soft, I'm sorry. What you are doing is you're not drinking alcohol, or you're limiting it to like just special occasions. You are drinking 3 liters of water or 101 ounces of water. You are reading 10 minutes of like a self-development book or self-help type book. You are exercising for 45 minutes. What else am I missing? You only could have 1 cheat meal, I believe, and you're supposed to eat like healthy. And I feel like I'm missing something. So if I am, I'll write it on the screen. But I basically took that and made it my own because, one, I don't drink alcohol, so it doesn't apply to me. I drink plenty of water, mineral water, herbal tea. So I don't drink based on volume. I drink based on nourishment. I drink based on hydration. There's some days when I drink lots of water and there's other days when I don't. And what I learned for myself is that when you're drinking water, if you're drinking mineral water or things that are hydrating, coconut water, you're not drinking like reverse osmosis water that is dehydrating to you, you shouldn't need to drink 101 ounces of water every single day. It's not really necessary. Some people may need it occasionally, but like in general, you don't always need to drink that. And so just be aware of that. I'm not trying to give a whole speech on that. You could do your own research on reverse osmosis and spring water, and I could share my story on that if you're interested, but making sure you're drinking the right waters. So like for me, my version, like I said, I already drank water. I don't drink alcohol. So it's like, what's the point of that? I don't need to add that to my list. So my 30 soft was making sure I walked every single day for at least 30 minutes. That's what I did this month so far, is 30 days of walking. Some days it was 45, some days it was 32, some days it was 30 in 1 second. Like it depends on the day. I would work out 3 times a week. That wasn't part of the 30 soft. It's just I would do that because I was already starting to do that anyways. I also made sure I already do self-development. I already read all the time and listen to self-development when I'm working out, walking, all that. I do that all the time. But this time I was more intentional about doing it every single day. So reading a book or listening to an audio book every single day. When it comes to the 10 minutes of reading, like what I would replace, like my version of what I replaced it with 30 soft was 5 minutes with time with God at minimum, and then 5 minutes of writing. And what I found out is that over 25 of the day, or probably over 27 of the days, I read the Bible longer than 5 minutes. I spent time with God more than 5 minutes. I wrote more than 5 minutes. There was only a few days where I just absolutely didn't want to do either, but I did it anyways. And I only did it for like 5 minutes and a few seconds. And some of those days I started it, didn't want to do it, and then I got into it and it was another 15 minutes later. I literally started doing it. I put this on the list of what my intentions were because I wanted to get in the habit. I didn't want to make relationship a habit in that sense, but I knew in order to strengthen that muscle, to build the muscle of talking and getting to know someone, I needed to be consistent with that. And so that's what I did. And that's what I did with that. When it comes to food, I did not have a goal of like no cheat meals. I don't believe in cheat meals anymore. I took that out of my vocabulary a long time ago. I eat to nourish. And so when I was eating, I was intentional about, okay, I want to eat for my body type, because I did a body type program, or not program, like, but a consultation, I guess. And I learned that I was a thyroid body type. And what I found out is that I should be eating more protein, more fats, and lower carbs. Not low carb, but just lower carbs. And so I started doing this, and it's funny because I noticed my digestion was better. Bloating was like way less unless I didn't eat. I was eating more consistently. I have more energy. You know, sometimes it's like up and down with, you know, when you're trying to heal your thyroid and things like that. But overall, it was improvements. And I was just so proud, like so proud of myself. And I'm trying to remember if I had anything else. I wrote it down here so I can make sure I don't. Oh, and then I forgot one more thing, is saying something I was grateful for every day, or speaking it out loud, or writing it, and why I was grateful for that. That was the one thing I forgot. That's actually the one thing that I didn't do every single day. I think I missed one day of that, but everything else I did consistently. And I felt and I feel so good about it. I feel good in my body. I didn't do this to just lose weight. Like, it wasn't a thing of that. It was more to become, like, these are the things that the woman I want to be does. And I want to be her. I want to imitate her. I want to be this individual. And so this is why I started doing these things. The weight is going to come off when it needs to. I'm a woman. I understand I put my body through a lot of stress. My body will release the weight when it's ready. I know that I'm on the right course because I pay attention, I journal, I track, and I know that I'm getting better every single day. It's not always a major improvement. And I have not actually weighed myself yet, so I'll weigh myself probably tomorrow because it's the end of the day, and I usually do it in the morning. And I'll see if I might have lost weight. I think I did, because some of my clothes fit differently, but that wasn't the intention. The intention is the nourishment and the discipline, the consistency. That was the intention, to kind of prove that I can do what I set myself out to do. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And so, like, for you, if you have an intention, a goal, I hope some of the things I mentioned, especially in the first part, they're helpful for you to be able to kind of, as we're transitioning into this new month tomorrow, so that you'll be able to, you know, you'll be able to have like a kind of a game plan or a cheat sheet, and to be able to get into this, because this all has helped me be so productive. Like, I am so productive, and I'm sleeping. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to say. Sleeping so much better. Like, I have deeper sleep. I dream, you know, and I feel really good. And I hope that you could feel really good too. I hope that you could take some of these things that I mentioned and apply them with yourself, or apply them to your own life. And will I continue on with a 30 soft? Yep. Yes, I will continue on. I guess this will end up being a 75 soft at some point. I'm just going to tweak, well, one thing really. The one thing I'm tweaking is I'm not going to say that I'm going to walk 30 minutes every day. I'm just going to say in general that I'm going to move my body for 30 minutes every single day. This is what I did before. I started doing this back at the end of September, and it's been very helpful for me, because sometimes you don't want to walk. Sometimes you want to stretch. You don't want to walk at all. And I'm pretty sure I will continue to walk. Well, I know I will continue to walk, but I'm pretty sure I'll end up continuing to walk every day, because I've done it for 30 days every day. But I don't think I will do it for 30 minutes every day. Sometimes it's just about going outside and just spending a moment outdoors. Sometimes it's about dancing. Sometimes it's about getting that stretch. And then other times it's about lifting heavy and really putting your body to work. And I want to honor that. I don't want to make it very rigid when it comes to that. I could be rigid and more disciplined or more specific in business, but when it comes to my body and nourishing, I want to be more flexible and flowing, and be more in my femininity, and just kind of have that ease and flow. So if you like this video, definitely check out one of these here, but I will see you in the next video with all my love. Lana.